So the biggest thing since the Freedom Convoy just happened, the 1 million person march or 1 million march for children event happened across Canada, and it was a massive success. And of course, the mainstream media is running with their propagandized narrative that this is some sort of protest of anti-2S LGBTQI+. Even Justin Trudeau tweeted about it, saying that we support Canadians. We're going to get into all the details. We've got clips from all different locations, so buckle up. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, turn those post notifications on if you haven't, because this is going to be a super detailed video and a breakdown into the massive failures of the representation of freedom of speech here in Canada. So let's take a look at, first of all, we're going to start off with the mainstream media representation, and then we're going to get into the truth. All right, so buckle up and just take your time with this. Let the video play out because this is going to be very informative. CP24 said live updates. More than 1,000 counter protests, anti-LGBTQ2S plus demonstrations in Toronto. And of course, it's a mass misrepresentation of it. And you have people commenting, including myself, saying this has nothing to do with anti-gay. It's about keeping kids alone. And you have Shocker, CP24 misrepresenting what the protest is about. That's your side of the story. Wow, the real news is the tens of thousands that are protesting. There aren't any anti-LGBTQ plus demonstrations today. Parents and non-pedophiles and non-child abusers are protesting gender ideology indoctrination in schools. And of course, we're talking about the gender sexual orientation gender ideology, which stands for SOGI, I believe, which is what's happening in the school. So here's CP24's video about this. This is horrible, man. This shit really pisses me off. And this is what happened with the Freedom Convoy. It got devalued by mainstream media and misrepresented, but there's so much independent mainstream coverage of this that it really doesn't matter at this point.
A number of controversial marches are taking place across the city and country this week, and they'll be conducted under the watchful eye of police and counter-protesters. Here's a live shot from Chopper 24 of some of the, it looks like it's the counter-protesters making their way to Queen's Park this hour.
And Queen's Park is where we find TV24's Steve Ryan live with more there. Looks like a really huge turnout for the counter-protest. Steve, the initial protest, though, set to start at Queen's Park. What's it like there now?
It's non-existent at the moment, Nick. And I say that because we just came from the south side of Queen's Park, where we were expecting the protesters to gather, and there are none. I did speak with a man off camera a short time ago who claimed to be one of the organizers, and he was in fact looking for his group that he said was going to gather here on the north lawn of Queen's Park, but I haven't seen him as of yet. That's not to say they're not coming, of course, but I just haven't seen them. But there certainly are hundreds upon hundreds of counter-protesters that have made their way from Barbara Hall Park along Wellesley, north side of Queen's Park here, and they, I believe, are going to gather on the front lawn. Now, these are people that are advocates of the LGBTQ community and supporters of gender ideology and sexual orientation. The protesters are gathering around the country to protest teachings out in the public schools in British Columbia that are teaching gender ideology and sexual orientation.
Yes, that's exactly right.
I spoke with Reverend Sherry DeNovo. She was a former MPP with the New Democratic Party here at Queen's Park. I talked with her just a short time ago, and you'll hear from her in a clip in 1 minute. But she was saying that this is not about teaching gender ideology and sexual orientation. She said this is more about acceptance and creating safe spaces for children.
No, it's not. This protest is 100% about protesting gender ideologies and that type of education in the school curriculum. It has no place for that to kids. Children have their innocence once, and when that innocence gets broken, then you can never go back, and then you realize how the real world is pretty much out to get you. This is very, very insane that you have this type of divide between sane and insane people. Even Justin Trudeau still doesn't get it, which is why he's getting insanely trolled here on social media, rightfully so. Let me make one thing very clear. Transphobia, homophobia, and biphobia have no place in this country. We strongly condemn this hate and its manifestations, and we stand united in support of 2S LGBTQI plus Canadians across the country. You are valid and you are valued. This has over 4.2 million views at the time of this recording, 40,000 likes, and 13.2 thousand comments. You will own nothing and you will be gay. I mean, he's just getting trolled. Everyone's saying, leave the kids alone. Leave the kids alone. The majority of Canadians agree with parental rights. And in case you're not from Canada and you're viewing this, which is quite possible since how big this protest has become, Canada's goal right now at the federal level, and it seems like most politicians are trying to remove parental rights from parents. I have a kid. Stay the fuck away from my kid. I will only say that once, and I will never apologize for any actions I take accordingly to protect my child and my child's innocence. And you have millions of Canadians. It doesn't matter what their background is. It doesn't matter what religious views they have. Millions of Canadians are coming together in solidarity in ways that we have never seen before in this country, standing up for parental rights. The government is trying to say, it's okay, teachers. Kids at school is a safe space and they can identify however they want. And you can hide that information from the parents, which by Canadian law, if you are a parent and you don't support or you are against or have any sort of opposition towards a child being identified by certain different pronouns or wanting gender affirming care, right? Mutilation, then that child can get taken away in custody. There's a viral video circulating online right now that shows a father sitting down with his son with $10,000 cash and says, here, son, make a decision. $10,000 cash or 2 Oreos. And the child picks the Oreos because children are not capable of making life decisions. They are children for a reason. There's ages of consent for a reason. There's reasons why you don't see children driving vehicles, voting, not getting jobs. There's a reason why you don't see children buying alcohol or tobacco, because they're kids and they have to be taught life as it comes up. And teaching children gender ideology and gender politics is not okay. And this is the hill that millions of Canadians are ready to die on. This is the hill that there will never be any amount of slack given. Stay the hell away from people's kids, Canadian government, because the people are standing up and the people are not going anywhere. Now let's get into some of the clips of these protests happening across the country. We've got Alexandra showing a Montreal clip here. A counter-protester at the 1 Million March for Children is wearing a blazer with a Nazi sign. The media is standing right next to him. Wonder if this will appear in the news.
I respect that. I'm trying to see what
Very bizarre. They had no problem showing Nazi flags of the Freedom Convoy. I wonder if the media will cover that. Then we have Lauren Southern on Twitter showing Vancouver's 1 Million March for Children doesn't start for 45 minutes and Antifa has already shown up to intimidate parents. All cops facing Antifa activists, none facing the other side. Can't imagine why.
Stay away from kids! Stay away from kids!
All these Antifa losers, none of them have children. They're all there to preach LGBTQI propaganda onto other people's kids. This is the hill that millions of Canadians are going to die on. You saw people get pushed around by the government during the Freedom Convoy in Canada, and that was the single-handedly largest uniting moment that Canada has ever seen. There was more attendees to the Freedom Convoy than any Olympic event held in Canada combined. Canada's held the Olympics for quite some time. There were millions and millions and millions of people that attended the Freedom Convoy in and out through foot traffic, and billions of people viewed it online. That's why there's like so many. There's more views online than there are people, which means There was a lot of friggin' people that watched this stuff. But what happened at the end of the Freedom Convoy is it was a hill that people were willing to die on. Of course, mandates and all of that stuff, standing for your freedom, freedom of speech. But the children is one level above and beyond what the Freedom Convoy stood for. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is something that people will not leave. People will not disband their protests out of intimidation from police. The people are fed up. The Freedom Convoy was a catalyst towards something much larger. This is the thing that is much larger. People from all around the world need to unite and stand up for the government to stop trying to indoctrinate or allegedly indoctrinate children in the school system. This is a clip from Greg Wycliffe on Twitter saying Queen's Park, Toronto right now, earlier today for the 1 million March for Children.
What happens if you bring it up? What happens? You are told you're a phobia, a this, a that. Right? But what about the rights and the privilege?
Lots of people, and as you can see, the protesters are always extremely peaceful here in Canada. Now we're getting into the meat and potatoes. Ottawa. What really happened in Ottawa? We have Chris Stacey, who was one of the main people to show what was happening in Ottawa. Him combined with Karima, which we're going to get into. They have amazing clips. I highly recommend following them on Twitter. Chris Stacey says, in Ottawa, this was a huge success. I never saw the tail end of the march. Thank you to everyone that came out today.
We are starting to march. We are just mustering the march. It is lanes wide and stretched all the way around the corner. This is a huge turnout for the 1 million March for Children.
Keep in mind that this happened in dozens of different cities across Canada simultaneously. So this turnout, which is very, very awesome and massive turnout here in Ottawa, this was also replicated across Canada, not just in major cities, but smaller, well-known cities in different provinces. 1 million man march? Oh, hell yeah. I can guarantee there were over 1 million people across Canada that showed up to protest today.
Holy jumping.
Don't mess with people's kids. People are fed up, and this is the hill in which families are willing to die on.
Jumping. This is miles long.
AC.
What a turnout, Josh.
Let's go stop him up here.
I cannot see the end of this thing.
Where a sign says, I didn't do 2 tours of duty in Afghanistan to give up my rights to religious bigots at home. Christ is king. Hey, teacher, leave our kids alone. Deliver us from evil. Stop grooming kids. Revolver.news. Canada first. Canada has flags. I mean, all of these signs. Leave the kids alone. This is insane. An incredible turnout by Canadians today. We have another clip here.
Leave the kids alone! Leave the kids alone! Leave the kids alone! Leave the kids alone! Leave the kids alone!
Holy jump out.
You can see that everybody is extremely peaceful. And then we have Karima, who's at a basically standoff with the police. This is Karima Sad on Twitter, standing in front of a line of police.
I love you so much. Thank you. I just listened to your video with people pray. Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you so much for revealing the truth. I appreciate that. Really. I've seen you at all the protests and I never had a chance to tell you. That's very kind. Thank you.
This was not scripted.
No, really, you have no idea. You help make everybody that sees the truth. And that's what we need more of. This is the lie. What you said is the truth. And Jeremy McKenzie is so lucky that he had you share his truth for everybody, for all of
Love
Canada.
you guys, man. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
So the shirt that she's wearing, HateGate, hashtag HateGate, is, for those who don't know, one of the biggest scandals that was exposed by this lawyer and Twitter influencer Karima Saad, and it's called HateGate. And Jeremy McKenzie is basically a political prisoner here in Canada. Let's take a look at another clip that Karima got from the march, where a short march by anti-Soji protesters in front of Sinclair Secondary School.
It's alone, baby.
Peace, brother. Freedom.
I love you. Leave our kids alone. Leave our kids alone. Leave our kids alone. Leave our kids alone. Leave our kids alone.
So one of my favorite parts, I guess my favorite part of all of this, is it has brought together people from all different backgrounds in Canada. Justin Trudeau has tried to divide and separate the country, and to a certain extent, he's done exactly that. But it's kind of backfired, and this is maybe my optimism settling in, or maybe this is the reality of the situation. I'd love to know what you think about this down in the comments, but it seems like through Justin Trudeau's attempt and somewhat completion of dividing the country, there's been a newfound unity. And that's where Christians, Muslims, Jews, every person from any denomination has come together. Even gay people are standing up against these protests, because it's not an anti-gay protest. It's not anti-LGBTQ. Nobody cares. You're a consenting adult. Go do whatever it is that you want to do. Have intimacy with whoever you want, as long as they're a consenting adult. Nobody cares about that. It's the children. Let kids be kids. And that's where everybody with common sense is pretty much agreeing. And is beautiful. And like I said several times in this video, this is the hill that people are ready to die on. And so as we end the video, I'd love to know, is this the hill that you're ready to die on? Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more. Stay tuned for more updates, because I'm sure there will be many more updates about this protest. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now. Thanks so much for making it to the end of the video. If you want to support the channel financially, you can do so by checking out the merch shop linked right up there. Or if you want to do something for free, which is also absolutely acceptable and highly encouraged, you can subscribe right there. If you want to continue watching videos like this, you can do so by clicking or tapping right there to watch the next upcoming video. And if you want to watch a little bit of different content, but also Canadian stuff, you can do so by clicking right up there. That's my second channel, House of Canada, also known as the House of Commons Highlights. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.